Yo, well, I say hello, motherfuckers, and welcome to the video, man. And today, man, we are going to talk about what is next for Mr. Conor McGregor, man. And this is a huge topic, and for multiple reasons, though. For reason one is because of the money draw that he brings to MMA and to the sport. And also, man, it is because he has so many options uh, throughout so many different weight divisions that he's been at, that he's at now, that he can go to. So, as we know, he just beat Cowboy Cerrone, okay? And people are saying Cowboy threw that fight. That's bullshit, okay? There's many people that you could claim that would throw a fight, and Cowboy is not one of them. You believe to tell me the man with the most wins, most knockouts, who loves fighting, would go out there and throw a fight? I call bullshit on that. There's a lot of money hungry motherfuckers out there, you know what I mean? But Cowboy is not one of them. So, that to the side, that's a bunch of bullshit, conspiracy bullshit theories that Conor haters have come up with. And I'm not a Conor hater. I did bet money with Cowboy. But the reason I bet money with Cowboy is because of the 18-month layoff that Conor had. Cowboy's been active. Also, it was a 3-1, you know what I mean? So it kind of, you know what I mean, synced up. Where it was a good payoff if it happened the right way, you know. And plus, with Conor coming up to 170s, 1-for-1 in 170. Well, now he's 2-1 at 170. And Cowboys fought here multiple times and got quite a few wins there. So that was my thought process in that. Turned out I was wrong, but whatever. Okay, so now on to the lottery that we call Conor. And Conor has so many options out there, as we spoke about. And, you know what I mean, let's get right into it, man. The first option for Conor is none other than Floyd Money Mayweather. That would be the second fight. He made his most money in his history fighting that fight right there. And a lot of people think he won some of the earlier rounds. I agree with that, but in a way, I believe also Floyd does what he does. He carried that fight a bit and wanted to go into the later rounds where he knew Conor wouldn't be as good as him. And you gotta give it to Floyd. He is undefeated, period, point blank, and that's for a reason. Floyd is very smart with his fights, and he is called Money Mayweather for a reason, folks. Now, the next fight, man, is one I don't care to see, but you know it's already in the talks, and that is Khabib. That's another huge money fight for the UFC, and Dana is chomping at the bit at this fight, and even Conor has said he doesn't want this fight right now. Conor wants another fight other than this one for, I believe, reasons of he wants to continue to train, he wants to continue to fight, and then go back and fight him when he believes he can beat him. Just my thought process. I'm not in the head of him, so I couldn't tell you. Now, Khabib says point blank Conor doesn't deserve a rematch. He even come up with some fucking wild number of he needs to go win 9 or 10 fights before he could fight him, which is crazy and absurd. You know what I mean, that he even says something like that, but I believe that has more to do with the disrespect of Conor going into that fight, and Khabib not wanting to go through that bullshit again of him talking about his wife, his religion, all that other shit. I honestly don't believe it has to do with anything with Khabib worried about losing, because I myself don't really want to see that. I just don't. I think we get the same result. I think Khabib takes him down, beats him up, and submits him. And that's my opinion on that one there. Okay, so now the next one is a bit of a surprise, but we're talking the motherfucking Conor lottery. And that's Manny Pacquiao, folks. Conor has said himself that he is in the talks with Manny Pacquiao to fight Manny. That's a big money fight, man. Is it as big as Floyd? Nah. But Manny still does numbers. Conor still does numbers. You still have that crossover of the UFC, MMA, and boxing. So that's an interesting fight there. And also, Manny is a go forward type of guy. You know what I mean? And I think that would suit Conor. I believe Conor would do better in this fight than he did in the Money Mayweather fight. Like I said, my opinion doesn't really matter for much, but that's just my opinion on that fact. Now, the next one, man, is one that I don't know if we'll see anytime soon. For a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we won't see this one anytime soon. But still out there, still must be talked about. And that is the Nate trilogy, folks. In this trilogy, they are already 1-for-1. Nate tapped Conor, and then Conor won a decision. And in that fight on the decision, a lot of people saying Nate won that fight. Of course, you got the Conor steadies, who is like, no, Conor won that, Conor won that. I seen a lot closer fight than what they said it was. It was a good fight. I'm not going to say Nate won that fight, though. I don't know. But that is a third fight that could possibly happen. But I don't believe Conor wants that fight right now either. I believe Conor is back for reasons of his own. And some of those reasons have to do with Conor always said and always talked so much shit about he was the man in UFC. He was the only one that put asses in seats in the UFC. He was the most exciting person in the UFC, which he does have a great point there. He is that man. He is that household name that brought a lot of people to the UFC as fans. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, though, because there is a lot of casuals out there, man, who don't know shit about MMA, only watch the fights where Conor comes through, and I mean, they talk like they know everything. Remember now, I've already said, I'm not a Conor hater, man. I am a MMA fan, not just a UFC fan. I am a MMA fan. I watch Bellator. I was watching Pride. I watch ONE FC. I watch Rising. I watch a lot of MMA. And I just think, you know what I mean, he's right. He does bring a lot of asses to seats, but his fans are somewhat just tacky, man. They, I just can't vibe with the Conor fans for the most part. The casuals, anyway. Now, if you bring a good points to me and everything else, absolutely, you know, we can have that discussion. But if you say Conor is the greatest to ever do MMA, pipe down. If you say Conor is the most entertaining person in MMA, thumbs up. I'm with you. I'm with you. Now, for the Nate trilogy, I don't believe he wants that fight. I believe this man wants this fight here, folks. And I believe this is the reason he came back, was because he felt that his shine was getting taken by not only Izzy being the rising star that he is, but Also from this man right here, George Masvidal, folks. George Masvidal went out there and knocked out Ben Askren in 5 seconds with a perfectly timed flying knee. He shot through the roof. Uh, he shot through the ranks, and now he's a household name. Everybody knows him in MMA. I mean, he even went and now he's got to deal with some tequila company. So I mean, to say he's not a star in MMA now, and he's not rising to that level of Conor, is a bit uneducated for yourself, man. He has star power, but he's not on Conor's level. Let's be honest now. But he does have that star power now in MMA, and I think Conor doesn't like the fact that A, he took some of the shine off of Conor, and then B, Conor is that type of man. When you say he can't do something, he wants to go get it done. And Dana said that George is too big for him at 170. Too big. So that is the fight, man, I believe Conor wants next. And that would be a huge, huge pay-per-view. Even though it's not for a belt. Whether, George has that bad motherfucker belt or not, it wouldn't be for that belt unless George wants to put it up, because it was supposed to be a one-night only thing. But we'll have to see. And then, now that Conor's at 170, what are the talks about him fighting Usman? Now, in my opinion, that fight won't happen right now either. I believe there's other fights at 170 that Conor would have to do, including the George Masvidal fight. And also on the same travel road that George has thought about it, that's the same way I believe Conor's thinking about it. George has said numerous times that he believes the money fight with Conor is better for right now, because who knows how long that money fight will be there. Usman holds a title at 170. Somebody will always hold that title at 170, folks. So who's to say they don't need to go do the money fight now instead of doing the damn title fight? The title's always going to be there. Now, these were just some of my outtakes, man, and there's other talks of people, Justin Gaethje, there's plenty of other people that we could see these people teaming up against, and fighting and everything else for Conor. Dana and them are all about the money fights. So, if we're going to put money on it right now, who he fights next, my opinion, has to go to Masvidal, folks. That's where my money goes to where he is going to fight next. And if it's not Masvidal, it's going to be Khabib, in my opinion. I believe after those two fights, you can talk the Nate trilogy, and you can talk the Floyd fight, or the Manny fight, or the Usman fight, or whoever holds that title at that time. I believe there's a progression that he's going to go through. And for me, and I believe a lot of other people, we'd want to see Conor at 170 again. So with George Masvidal, he gets that 170 fight before he would go fight for a title. With Nate Diaz, he gets that 170 fight at 170. With Khabib, they get that rematch, big money fight. And, everybody's talking about Khabib. What about Ferguson? What if Ferguson beats Khabib? Does that fight still interest Conor? I would say yeah, because Conor wants to get that loss back. That's the reason he fought Nate again. That's the reason he's talking about a trilogy with Nate. So We could also throw Khabib in that motherfucker if he loses or if he wins. And then if Tony wins, you could put Tony in there in the talks of the Conor lottery. The Red Panty Night. Alright, folks. Listen up, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, man. If you did, hit that like, hit that sub button. Share this out on your social media to all your friends, man. I appreciate y'all sitting around hanging out with me. And as always, man, see y'all on the next one. Peace out.